Sergeant at Arms, would you call the meeting to order, please?
Oh, yes, so yes, Sergeant Council of the City of Memphis. Sit back, call for order for transaction business, switch adjournment. All right, please.
I would like to recognize our chaplain of the day, Bishop Marvin Frank Thomas from Trinity Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, invited by Madam Vice Chair Swearingen Washington. Bishop Thomas, would you please lead us in prayer, sir?
Let us pray. God of grace and God of glory, we acknowledge your presence, grace, and power. We come before you to give thanks to you for all the blessings you have blessed us with. We pause at the beginning of this meeting of the City Council of the City of Memphis, Tennessee. As we do so to thank you for our city and to ask your blessings upon her and all who make Memphis what Memphis is. Thank you for these called and elected leaders of our city. Grant grace, compassion, and wisdom to our mayor and the members of the City Council. As these called and elected members of the Memphis City Council and their support staffs engage in the business of the city that is before them today, please manifest your presence as the conversations, discussions, and decisions are being made for the good of Memphis and all that is Memphis. It is my prayer that our city would be a better city because of the gifts of these servants who give of their all in doing the work they do. God of grace and glory, pour anew your power upon this council as it meets this day. And when the work of this day is done, grant them safe passage to the places they be from, that they may retreat and refresh for the continuing work before them. Thank you for their families who unselfishly share them with the city of Memphis. Thank you, Lord, and may you be pleased with their work this day and beyond. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Vice Chair, you recognize.
Thank you, Chair. It is my pleasure to thank our chaplain of the day, none other than my bishop, Bishop Marvin Frank Thomas, Sr., in recognition of a life of exemplary qualities, outstanding service to the city, meritorious involvement in humanitarian affairs, and demonstrated concern for governmental process, has been appointed Chaplain of the Day by the Memphis City Council and is hereby entitled to all of the honors, rights, privileges, and prerogatives appertaining to the office and to the display of this certificate given under the seal of the great city of Memphis on this 22nd day of April 2025. J. Ford Canale, Chairman, Janica Swearingen Washington, member of the Memphis City Council. And Bishop, you are going to also receive a surprise resolution. Yes, we know how to surprise you because we are most appreciative of your service in the city of Memphis and how you are working with the mayor's office, working with the different denominations and the community. And we are excited about your leadership and we're thankful for all that you do. Whereas on occasion, the Memphis City Council seeks to honor individuals who have enriched the community, of whose legacy of leadership, surprise, and their service and their spiritual guidance is worthy of recognition. Bishop Marvin Thomas Sr. is one such individual whose work in ministry, education, and civic engagement has left a lasting mark on Memphis and beyond. Whereas he currently chairs the Board of Trustees of Lane College, the CME Department of Lay Ministry, the Connectional Headquarters Board, and the Collins Chapel Board of Directors, and the John Madison Exum Towers. Whereas Bishop Marvin Frank Thomas is a life member and national board member of the NAACP, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and has received honorary doctorates from Texas College and Stillman College, which also named him as a distinguished alumnus of 2022. Whereas Bishop Thomas is a proud father to 2 children, Courtney Leah Thomas and Marvin Frank Thomas Jr., and a loving grandfather to Cameron, cherishing the values of faith, family, and service in the speeches of life. Now therefore be it resolved that the Memphis City Council honors Bishop Marvin Frank Thomas Sr. for his unwavering commitment to ministry, to education, and the community. And we celebrate the impact of his work across the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church and the city of Memphis. May his legacy of leadership, compassion, and faith continue to inspire for generations to come, given by my hand under the great seal of the city of Memphis on this 22nd day of April 2025, Jana Swearingen, Washington, Memphis City Council, District 4. God bless you for your leadership.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And my photographer is going to take a picture. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Bishop Thomas, for praying with us and over us today. Madam Comptroller, would you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilmember Carlisle. Cooper Sutton. Present. Easter Thomas. Ford. Green. Logan.
Present.
Smiley. Spinoza. Swearingen, Washington.
Present.
Walker.
Present, and happy Earth Day.
Warren.
Present.
White.
Present.
Chairman Canale.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. I believe Vice Chair Swearingen Washington has read our meeting minutes from the April 8th, 2025 meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. I have reviewed the minutes and find them to be in order. I move for the adoption of the April 8th meeting minutes.
That item was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for the meeting minutes of April 8th. Members, please cast your votes.
Cooper Sutton, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
Welcome to the April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting of the Memphis City Council. Meetings of the council shall be conducted in an orderly manner to ensure the public has the full opportunity to be heard, and the deliberate process of the council is retained at all times. The Sergeant at Arms has meeting agendas available up front, as well as comment request cards for members of the public wishing to be heard on a specific item. All those wishing to speak on an item must turn in their comment card to the Sergeant at Arms before the item is called. If you are not here to speak on a specific item, you can note your request to give general comment at the end of the meeting. As chair, I will only recognize citizens that properly registered to speak by submitting a completed comment request card to the Sergeant at Arms. Members of the audience and persons addressing the council will not be permitted to engage in gossip, make defamatory, personal, slanderous, or profane comments, or use abusive or vulgar language. The chairperson of the council may maintain order by giving any persons who are in violation of the stated rules of decorum a warning to cease any violative conduct in order to leave the council's chambers, or by giving an order for security personnel to remove any disruptive person in the council's chambers who refuses to leave voluntarily. These rules are posted on the door as you enter the chamber and as you pick up comment cards. So let it be known, this is your first and only warning. If anybody violates the rules of decorum, I will have the Sergeant at Arms remove you from these chambers. I would like to recognize former Mayor A.C. Wharton, that I see in the crowd today. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. items 7 and 29 on the agenda will be held until May 6th. Item 30 and 31 will be held until May 20th. So items 7 and 29 will be held one meeting, and items 30 and 31 will be held two meetings. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 1.
Item number 1 is a resolution recognizing and honoring Virginia Wilson for her years of service with the city of Memphis. This resolution is sponsored by Councilwoman White. It was held from March 25th.
Councilwoman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Miss Virginia Wilson. So, you all, today we are here to celebrate Mrs. Virginia Wilson for her 23 years of service to the city of Memphis. And what makes her so special and what you will hear when I read this resolution is what makes her so special and what sets her apart isn't just the titles that you're gonna hear that she's held, but it's the integrity with which she's held these positions. Her leadership wasn't about the spotlight, but about impact, not about recognition, but results. And it shows in all the students you've mentored, the colleagues you've inspired, the policies that you've helped advocate for and shape, and just how you've made us more connected, more compassionate, and a better city. Whereas the Memphis City Council holds in the highest regard those individuals whose unwavering dedication has profoundly shaped and enriched our community. And Mrs. Virginia B. Wilson stands as a beacon of service and excellence, having devoted 23 years to the city of Memphis with unparalleled commitment, steadfast leadership, and an enduring passion for public service and community engagement. Whereas Mrs. Virginia B. Wilson's most recent role as Executive Director of the Police Advisory Review Committee, PARC, formerly known as the Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board, CLERB, she provided invaluable leadership in fostering transparency, accountability, and by overseeing the review of the citizens' concerns related to law enforcement interactions. And whereas Mrs. Wilson's career with the city of Memphis, she's also served as in intergovernmental affairs, coordinator, executive liaison to the Memphis City Council, renewal community coordinator, and risk management analyst, playing key roles in strengthening relationships and improving city operations. And whereas, as a dedicated mentor, Mrs. Wilson has volunteered in Memphis Shelby County schools, including Humes High School, Westwood Elementary School, Ida B. Wells Academy, and Northside High School, shaping the lives of countless students. Whereas Mrs. Wilson's extraordinary contributions to the community have been celebrated with numerous accolades, each a testament to her unwavering dedication, visionary leadership, and tireless commitment to elevating Memphis as a vibrant, thriving, and compassionate place to live and work. And whereas Mrs. Wilson's professional achievements, she is also a devoted family member. She's the daughter of the late Mr. Perry and Mrs. Willie Bell Bowie, the 7th of 10 children, a loving wife to Reverend Bobby G. Wilson, a proud mother to LaKendrick M. Wilson, wife Shauna, and Philandria S. Wilson, and a cherished grandmother to Jordan Nicole and Nicholas Maxwell Wilson. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Memphis City Council recognizes and honors Mrs. Virginia B. Wilson, not only for 23 years of devoted service to the city of Memphis, but also for the grace, integrity, and tireless dedication in which you've served. In the words of Proverbs 31:31, honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Your service has not only strengthened the fabric of our city, but has also left an indelible mark on the hearts and lives of those you've served with. An enduring legacy of service, compassion, and excellence that will echo for years to come. Today, it is our privilege as the Memphis City Council to honor you and to present this resolution in your honor. We also have you a small token of appreciation.
Greetings to each of you, Memphis City Council members, Chairman Ford Canale, J. Ford Canale, and to the other members of the Memphis City Council. And I just want to say this afternoon that I am so moved and so touched. Thank you so much, because there are any number of people that could have been selected for this proclamation on this particular day. But I thank you so much for selecting me. To the incredible and amazing Councilwoman Attorney, Janica White, it is with heartfelt thanks and most gratitude to you for not only the service that you render on this council, but for the recommendation to this body to honor me. So this day I say thank you so much. I am grateful that I've had, as I look around at the members of this Memphis City Council, and I see faces that I see often, and that all of the members on this council, I've had the opportunity to be in the same room, in the same space, and to have conversation with you, Chairman Ford Canale, Vice Chair Jana Swearingen Washington. I'm thinking about your sister when I used to work with her. Ms. Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, Jerry Green, Pearl Walker, Philip Spinoza, Edmund Ford Jr., Michael Easter Thomas, J.B. Smiley, Janica White, who's sitting here, Yolanda Cooper Sutton, Chase Carlisle, and Dr. Jeff Warren. And out of all of the names that I've just called, I've had the unique pleasure of working with 4 of you as you served as the council liaison on the clerk board and the park board. And those four council people are Councilman Philip Spinoza, Dr. Jeff Warren, Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, and Councilwoman Janica White. I appreciate the work that you did to help and support me as I worked to help and support the citizens of Memphis when hearing their cases. A special thanks also today to Mayor Paul Young for allowing me the opportunity to continue to serve as the Executive Director of the Police Advisory Review Board. Also, I want to thank this evening Dr. Reginald Boyce, director of the Office of Community Affairs where I worked, and the great team that he assembled at 555 Bill to ensure that this work for the city of Memphis continued, that we did the best work. So I want to thank him. Also to my family for their support during this 23-year journey with the city of Memphis. My husband, Elder Bobby G. Wilson, my son, who was mentioned, LaKendrick Wilson, and his wife, Shauna, my daughter, Philandria Wilson, and my grandchildren, Nicholas and Jordan, and to my sister, Judge Bernice Donald, my sister, Elaine Lyons, Mary Thomas, Elder Larry Bowie, Alpha Bowie, Patrick Bowie, Jareen Bowie, and my in-laws, Louise Taylor, Catherine Wilson, Betty King, and to my church members, and to all of you who I've had the privilege and the pleasure of working with, the dedicated and wonderful employees of this city of Memphis who works tirelessly each and every day to ensure that the work is done and that this city is the greatest city in these United States. So lastly, I will say to you, members of this city council, please continue to be compassionate about the wonderful work that you're doing and help advance this city as you have been doing. And I say to you, each of you, may God continue to bless you in your endeavors. Thank you, Memphis City Council.
Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I definitely don't want to let the day go by without thanking Miss Virginia, as I call her, Miss Virginia, for her service. She was such a treasure during the time that I served on the clerk's board. Her professionalism and her decorum. She always served in excellence, and she was always resourceful. We were facing some trying times, but she was always resourceful, gracious, and made certain that there was a level of decorum and professionalism about what we did, and I will always remember that, and thank you for bringing that level of excellence to your role here in the city of Memphis. We're going to miss you, and we pray Godspeed on your next journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. We are so thankful for you and for your dedication to this city. God bless you. Madam Comptroller, please show that approved by acclamation. And please call item number 2.
Item number 2 is a resolution designating April as Donate Life Month in the city of Memphis. This resolution is sponsored by the Memphis City Council.
Councilman Dr. Warren, you're recognized.
Swearingen was second.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a resolution today from the entire City Council concerning National Donate Life Month. Whereas each April, National Donate Life observes Blue and Green Day to amplify the importance of registering as an organ and tissue donor, and whereas more than 100,000 Americans, including 4,000 in the Mid-South area, are currently on the National Transplant Waiting List, and whereas another person is added to the waiting list every 8 minutes, and on average, 17 people die every day because the organs that they need are not donated in time. And whereas we can all do our part to save lives by educating and encouraging our peers and loved ones to register as an organ donor and tissue donor. And whereas the Memphis City Council supports National Donate Life, and Mid-South Transplant Foundation and its efforts to bring new life to men, women, and children in need of life-saving organs and tissue transplants. And whereas we hold those who save lives through the gifts of donation in the highest regard and are grateful for their selflessness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Memphis City Council does hereby designate the month of April 2025 as Donate Life Month in the city of Memphis and encourages all residents to promote the importance of organ and tissue donation. Given this day by our hands under the Great Seal of Memphis, this 22nd day of April, the entire Memphis City Council. Thank you.
Thank you again so much. Thank you, Memphis City Council. My name is Dr. Tisa Franklin. I represent Mid-South Transplant Foundation. And I just want to say, when you think about National Donate Life, 4 of my family members are living today because of transplantation, and 1 of them are waiting. I want people to always remember that there's over 100,000 people that are awaiting a life-saving transplant right here. 4,000 of those people live right in the city of Memphis, and want to make sure that we know one life can enhance the lives of 75 people. And it's a great thing to say yes to organ and tissue donation. We have so many people right here in the city of Memphis that are sitting and are awaiting a life-saving transplant. It is up to us to say yes. It is better to give than to receive. Thank you again, Memphis City Council, for your love and your prayers and your support towards Mid-South Transplant Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Franklin.
Here's the gift.
Okay.
This time it's better to receive.
right. Thank you. Oh, God. Let me get the kitchen.
If just the council come down, let's all get a picture.
Mine's the fact that I got no green. The blue or green. Come on, people. Come on, pretty people. Come on. It's okay.
Now, while we're down here, let's do what we're supposed to. I'll get in the middle.
Yeah, I want you to come and really do that.
Madam Comptroller, please call item number 4.
Item number 4 is a resolution recognizing Dr. William E. Arnold Jr. for his contributions to criminal justice reform and reentry initiatives. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Smiley.
Councilman Smiley, recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Canale. Doctor,
Arnold, could you come down here? I want you to be down here as we, I don't know where you went.
Smiley and
Tequila. Oh, you got your whole crew today. Come on, everybody who's here to support Dr. Arnold. Councilman Ford, I just want to say this. You see this, it's black and gold for a reason. All right, so I'm saying this, I said that in jest, but shout out to the first. Okay. In all seriousness, the reason we're standing here today, I think it's something that we should do more of, because April is also known as Second Chance Month. And a lot of times in our communities, we try to stigmatize people who are incarcerated for whatever reason, but we don't do a really good job of allowing people to enter our society who paid their debt to society, whether they're rightfully or wrongfully convicted. And I believe that once you hear Dr. Arnold's story, what happened, his real life, you understand the importance of supporting people and understand the importance of folks. No matter what happened in their life, they got out and started doing the work of the people. So let me just tell you about it. Whereas on occasion, the Memphis City Council recognizes individuals who are making a positive impact in the community, and in recognition of April as Second Chance Month, Dr. William E. Arnold Jr. is certainly worthy of honor for his public service and tireless advocacy for justice reform and community empowerment. Whereas Dr. William Arnold is a proud native of Memphis, Tennessee, and a product of Memphis City school system. He holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Tennessee and a doctorate in higher education administration from Tennessee State University. Whereas Dr. Arnold has over 20 years of experience in higher education and community engagement with a strong focus on reentry initiatives and criminal justice reform. He is a dedicated servant leader and TED Talk alum, talk about it, committed to advancing social justice and public policy. And whereas in 2023, Dr. Arnold was wrongfully convicted of crimes he did not commit in Nashville, Tennessee. But, I think this should say, but God, in 2020, his conviction was unanimously overturned by an appellate court. Y'all should make some noise for that. Making him the first individual to receive relief from the Davidson County Conviction Review Unit. And whereas Dr. Arnold has served on the transition team of the Shelby County District Attorney Stephen Mulroy and chaired the subcommittee that established the Shelby County Justice Review Unit, the second criminal justice reform unit of its kind in Tennessee. And whereas Dr. Arnold currently serves as the director of Tennessee Office of Reentry at the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, overseeing the nation's first state-funded comprehensive reentry program housed within the Department of Labor rather than the Department of Corrections. He has led discussions at national conferences, universities, and state agencies highlighting the urgent need for criminal justice reform, personal risk management, and expanded reentry efforts. And whereas Dr. Arnold advocates for a labor-focused approach to reentry, emphasizing pathways that restore dignity, reduce recidivism, and integrate justice-involved individuals into the workforce. Now therefore resolved, the Memphis City Council commemorates April 15, 2025 as the 5th anniversary of Dr. William E. Arnold Jr.'s second chance and recognizes his continued mission toward full exoneration following his wrongful conviction. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Dr. Arnold as a token of our appreciation for your leadership, advocacy, and tireless work in promoting a more just and equitable society for all. Presented and given by the entire Memphis City Council. Thank you. Y'all see this support network. We just honored Ms. Wilson. You see where she stands.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, Auntie. Y'all, this is what love looks like. A love I can't begin to tell you about. First of all, I just want to talk about just the love of Christ and just thankful for the fact that he allowed me and for all these beautiful people to be here today. They could have been anywhere else, much as you all could have been anywhere else, but I thank you all for being here today at this time. I also want to thank Brother Smiley and also the City Council for allowing me this opportunity today. Just last week, I celebrated 5 years of being home from my wrongful incarceration. And if you can see this, anybody, this is what I looked like when I came home. Wow. That was me. Yeah. 2,498 days, 2 hours and 11 minutes. I was a man in a place that I wasn't supposed to be. I never heard anybody say William. They either said Arnold, 524-840, or Doc. So it's good to come home because I think it wasn't E.F. Hutton, it was Dale Carnegie who said the sweetest and the most important sound to anyone in the world is the sound of their name. So to be able to come home and have people look at me in love and call me William is a great thing. But I would be remiss if I didn't also talk about what the journey has taught me. And it has taught me that there are a number of people who are incarcerated who should be home. Understand that this is National Second Chance Month, and 95% of the people who are incarcerated are coming home. Everybody's not doing life. Everybody doesn't have a death sentence. So the question is, who do we want them to be when they come home? Yep. 1 in 3 Tennesseans has a felony. 1 in 3 black men in Memphis have a felony. Right? So that gives you just an idea of what we're dealing with. 1 in 2 Tennesseans has a family member that's justice involved. Right now, I'm working on a project where we have about 1,000 tablets in 201 Poplar, the penal form, and also at Jail East. These are workforce reentry tablets where people can actually learn how to better themselves, learn workforce skills. And even any of you who are employers, you can actually create modules that we can place on those tablets where people can learn while they're there. So I encourage you all to, if you know somebody who's incarcerated, write them. Put some money in their books. Pray for them. Thank you. God bless.
This is really... Act like we love each other. Come on. Come on, come closer, come closer. The importance of community.
Thank you, Dr. Arnold. We applaud you for your work. Please continue to keep up the great work you're doing for all those. God bless you. You call him. You talk.
Madam Controller, please call the next item.
Those votes were shown by acclamation. Is that going to be number 3? That will take us to item number 3, a resolution approving an honorary street name at Island Drive from A.W. Willis to Harbortown, Circle North, for George Edward Falls, Jr., District 7, Super District 9. This resolution is sponsored by Chairman Canale.
Chairman Canale, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Colleagues, I stand before you today truly honored to honor this great man who had such an indelible mark on the city of Memphis, but also on me personally. He was my T-ball coach, I think it was, just a few years ago. It hadn't been that many. George Falls was the quintessential gentleman and a true statesman for this city, and he touched numerous lives over the years, and I'm honored to be able to recognize him and the mark that he left on this community. I won't read the entire resolution today. I'll read the whole thing when we do the official unveiling, but I want to thank you two for being here on behalf of his family and accepting this. Whereas when worthy circumstances arise, the Memphis City Council has seen fit to name certain public roads to honor citizens who have served this community and whose contributions to the city of Memphis are certainly worthy of recognition. George Edward Falls, Jr. representing one of those worthy occasions. Whereas George Edward Falls, Jr. was a true Southern gentleman, one of Memphis and the Mid-South's premier restaurateurs, where hospitality, graciousness, and entrepreneurial vision helped shape the city's culinary landscape. And whereas Mr. Falls was a man of deep faith who loved the Lord and served as a longtime member of the Church of the Holy Communion, where he found spiritual strength and a welcoming community before his passing on Wednesday, October 18, 2023, at the age of 87. And whereas beyond his many professional and civic accomplishments, George Edward Falls Jr. is most remembered for his warm smile, kind heart, polished charm, and deep devotion to his family, especially his beloved wife Jackie, son Harry, and extended family and friends whom he held close. And whereas the Memphis City Council gladly celebrates George Edward Falls Jr., and we applaud him for his invaluable contributions to the city of Memphis, we also entreat servants everywhere to emulate his dedication within their own lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we honor George Edward Falls Jr. for his unparalleled service and contribution to the city of Memphis. An island drive from A.W. Willis to Harbortown Circle North in the city of Memphis be declared and designated George Edward Falls Jr. Drive. Be it further resolved, the city engineers requested to affix suitable signs designating this public road in honor of George Edward Falls Jr. for his commitment and contributions to this city of Memphis, given under my hand as the chairman and of my wonderful colleagues. Thank you so much for your support, colleagues.
Madam Controller, please show approval by acclamation.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Do you want to recognize Doris Holt, who just retired from the federal defender's office before she leaves Judge Donna? Because I don't know the man. You do it first. No, I do it because it's acknowledged.
Councilwoman White, you're recognized.
Miss Holt.
Ms. Holt, Judge Holt.
Here. Turn the mic on, Janica. Yes, before she left, I did want us to acknowledge Federal Defender Doris Holt, who we had her retirement celebration on yesterday. And I just wanted to recognize her before she left. Thank you so much for your service, Miss Doris Holt. And we also have, which Mrs. Virginia Wilson did mention, we also have Judge Bernice B. Donald in the audience as well, and we always want to make sure that we acknowledge her when she's here. Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair and Chairman.
Thank you, Councilwoman White. Madam Comptroller, would you please call item number 5?
Item number 5 is a resolution approving the appeal of David Wade on behalf of Charles B. Dudley, Frank Stallworth, and other residents along Grandview Avenue seeking to overturn the action of the Memphis and Shelby County Land Use Control Board approving a 2-lot residential major subdivision at the subject property located at 4014 Grandview Avenue. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is S24-41.
Madam Vice Chair, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met and did not make a recommendation on this item. The appellants seek a reversal of the Land Use Control Board decision, which was approving a 2-lot residential major subdivision at the subject property located at 4014 Grandview Avenue. To put this matter before the council, I move that the Land Use Control Board's decision be reversed. We're also asking if the appellants and the appeal person can have 10 minutes to speak before the council.
Okay, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. That item was moved and properly seconded, moved by JSW, seconded by Spinoza. Mr. Wade, since you're the representative of the appellant, I'm going to allow you to go first. We're going to allow 10 minutes per side and then 3 minutes per side for rebuttal if needed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. David Wade, 6410 Poplar Avenue. I was informed by my friend Alan Wade a couple of 3 or 4 days ago that since this is an appeal, it's heard on the record only as to what happened in the Land Use Control Board, and you all act in a judicial capacity. So you're deciding whether the Land Use Control Board acted properly or acted arbitrarily and capriciously. So we take the position on behalf of the appellants who live along Grandview Avenue. Actually, you see the star is the lot in question. Can you do the overhead, just the photograph, please, Ms. Christian? What the Land Use Control Board did was to decide that this lot could be subdivided, and the decision was made on the statement of 3 people in the Land Use Control Board. The ruling was made by a statement from Mr. Norman first, and what Mr. Norman said was, I just looked through these. We handed out petitions to the Land Use Control Board, and they should be part of the record, but to make sure they're part of the record, I'd like to hand them out again. That'd be okay, Ms. Christian? Pardon? So
Yes, sir.
who do I give them to?
Yes, sir. .6% of the people that live in the neighborhood have signed these petitions to say that this subdivision shouldn't pass. It is owned by, the lot is owned by Mr. Chase Carlisle, who is their representative on the city council, one of their representatives on the city council. They couldn't talk to him, and they weren't able to talk to you because Mr. Wade suggested that that wouldn't be proper since you're acting as judges. But the people that spoke in favor of this resolution were 2 members on the Land Use Control Board. Ms. O'Connor said that when she was on the New York Planning Commission, they had a similar case. They turned it down, but what happened is the lot owner sold to the appellants and said that's what should happen here. She relied on New York law. The UDC doesn't have anything in it requiring somebody to buy this lot. She should not have said that. What Mr. Norman on the Land Use Control Board said was they raised their hands. By the way, I'd like everybody who's opposed to this application, please raise your hand. These neighbors came down here. Mr. Norman read the petitions and said, I see what's being asked of us for the benefit of one person to go against the entire neighborhood. The desires of this neighborhood, I have a problem with that. When you did the overhead, it does not appear that it fits the overhead with that neighborhood, in my opinion. It's hard for me to support this one, and he voted against it. The vote was 5-3. That meaning with one shift in the vote, it would have failed. But the person who spoke most forcefully for this was Ms. O'Connor, who cited New York law. And that was error on the part of the Land Use Control Board to consider that. Do you have the aerial at all? Is that all you've got?
I don't have it uploaded on this presentation.
All right. Take a look at the lot with the star. You can't see it, but in the point of the star on the right side is a giant magnolia tree. To the right of that slot is where Mr. Dudley lives. In the northeast corner is a depressed area. So the northeast 65 feet are least desirable. Mr. Dudley, in order to say, please don't subdivide these lots, offered to purchase the 65 feet to preserve the magnolia tree, to try to keep impervious development on the lot where it's already flooded and causing drainage problems. Mr. Carlisle said, no, I want you to buy 90 feet and you have to pay X dollars. Well, that wasn't the idea to subdivide the lot. The idea was to keep it so Mr. Dudley's lot and that lot would remain two lots and not be subdivided. Across the street, when the presentation was made, and you can't see it very well in this overhead, but when the presentation was made across the street, there are two lots, two houses that had been subdivided. And the applicant used that as an example of what you should do. Well, first of all, that house was never submitted, that subdivision was never submitted to the neighborhood. It was done by a technical review as a minor subdivision. This proposal is a major subdivision. They should not have argued about a minor subdivision in dealing with what the Land Use Control Board was supposed to do. The lot that they were referring to, which is across the street, never went to the Land Use Control Board. It never went to City Council. Not only that, but in the application, they submitted photographs of other lots. One was a mile away, one was a half a mile away, and one was 1,800 feet away. The UDC says you can only consider lots within 500 feet. That information was given to the Land Use Control Board, and it should not have. So we submit that what the Land Use Control Board decided was invalid, and we request you to make it, to confirm that it was invalid and to strike it down. Huh? How much more time? When do you want to take it?
Good afternoon. Alexander Warden, attorney. Address is 1575 Madison Avenue with the Warden Law Firm. Just want to supplement some of the things that Attorney Wade said. We also have been retained to represent the interest of not only Mr. Dudley, but a will of more than 76% of the individuals who live on that street. What is being requested of you, in addition to what Attorney Wade mentioned about a clear misdirection and dereliction of the Land Use Control Board's responsibilities to comply with the City of Memphis law, but ignore the will of 76% of the people who are most impacted by this proposed request. That is a tall task of this body to ignore what the people most closely associated with this issue, what they want and what they do not want. If we talk about precedent, setting bad precedent versus good precedent, we're not talking about any and all cases of a lot division being denied by this body or by the Land Use Control Board, but specific to this neighborhood, the request is that a lot that was clearly designed to accommodate a grand home similar to the other homes on that street, that should be rejected because it does not conform with the character of the neighborhood itself. Put aside the 76% for a moment. If you go by and you look at the neighborhood itself, it does not and would not conform not only with the will of the great majority of the individuals there, but the neighborhood itself. I can envision a situation to where if you go and say, well, they did it in Galloway, they did it at Red Acres, we don't have a plug-and-play system. That's why these applications are to be reviewed in great detail. You just don't approve them. And what the Land Use Control Board we submit did was try to compare an out-of-state situation to something that should apply here and ignored the same stack of paperwork that you got received today, in addition to the individuals who are here, just to say ignore that because we believe that it should be sold. We can't control what this person wants to do and you want to buy it at a certain price. Those issues are somewhat immaterial. If you look at what we have today, and we're somewhat handicapped because the very person who we would go to, our clients would go to for relief, is the person who submits this to the body, to the Land Use Control Board as well as City Council. So we don't have an advocate on the body, and we can't come to you as instructed by Attorney Wade, which we understand. But at the same time, you now have to deal with and appreciate the fact that you've got people here who are representing, again, over 76% of what those individuals want to fit with the character of that neighborhood as it's always been. We have to operate, and we submit that you all have to operate and reverse the decision of the Land Use Control Board out of matter of equity, out of matter of what is sound legally, and to not set poor precedent for rubber stamping applications simply because the applicant is one of your fellow members. So with that, we submit.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Mr. Josh Whitehead, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Josh Whitehead. My address is 275 Jefferson. My home address is 1955 Central. I do have two procedural matters, and this is more of a question. Would the council like to hear a presentation from OPD? Because if not, I need to maybe consume some of my 10 minutes for that.
I'd like an OPD presentation.
Okay.
All right, DPD, you can go ahead.
That's why I want to hear this. Because they approved this, so why they approve it?
All right, good afternoon. I'm Chloe Christian with DPD. I'll be giving a staff presentation of this case. It's case number S2024-041. As was mentioned before, this is a request to appeal the Land Use Control Board decision to approve a 2-lot residential subdivision at 4014 Grandview Avenue. Here's a location map of the property. It's located in the East Memphis area near the University of Memphis neighborhood. It's zoned residential single family 10, which permits lots of minimum 10,000 square foot in size, and it's surrounded by predominantly single family uses. Here are some photos of the subject property. It's currently vacant, and the request is to essentially split this lot in half to build 2 single family homes on each lot. This is the original platted subdivision, Crump's addition to Grandview Avenue subdivision. It's the property highlighted in yellow, and I'd like to note the 112-foot platted building setback. This is the requested subdivision, so it maintains that platted building setback as well as an increased side yard setback, which was requested by the applicant as well. The lots are 0.78 and 0.77 acres each in size, so a little over 33,700 square feet, so well over the required minimum. So when we receive subdivision requests, we're required to make sure that certain criteria are met, which are seen on the screen here. So staff agrees that these criteria are met, and I'll walk through the ways in which these requirements are met. Specifically, number 2, which was mentioned by the appellant, we will do an analysis of all lots within 500 feet of the proposed subdivision. So for one, this plan was found to be consistent with the Memphis 3.0 plan. It meets all of the intent of this future land use plan. It preserves the light intensity of this area, and it would be a residential use, which meets the goals of the designation. It also meets all of the applicable bulk requirements of the R10 district, so it's compatible with the code itself. The building setback of 112 feet is maintained, which I mentioned, and the lot width, size, and setbacks are exceeding the required minimum per the code. And this is the lot analysis of 500 lots within 500 feet of the site. So it is the opinion of staff that the size of the requested lots is within the range of lots within the area. So the average lot size is 1.8 acres. The proposed lots are slightly under this requirement. However, it's still within the range of other lots in the area. So on this chart here, I've highlighted in orange properties that are under the lot width of the proposed subdivision. Yellow highlights areas that are under the lot size of the proposed subdivision, and the green are lots that are under the lot width and lot size of the subdivision. So with this in mind, it clearly is within this range and is compatible with the lots within the vicinity. So this application received an approval recommendation from staff, and it was approved by the Land Use Control Board in February with conditions and waivers. So DPD recommends rejection of the appeal to overturn the approval of this subdivision. Here are the conditions that were approved by the Land Use Control Board for this subdivision. And in conclusion, the requested subdivision exceeds the required lot size, width, and setback minimums of the Unified Development Code. It is consistent with the Memphis 3.0 plan, and the size, width, and building setbacks of the two lots are within the range of lots within 500 feet of the subdivision. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitehead, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Josh Whitehead, 275 Jefferson. I did want to start with a quote, or excuse me, a section number from the UDC 9.23.2E2, which states that appeals heard by the governing bodies, including the City Council, shall be based on the record as well as any new evidence presented during the hearing. I'm about to, my colleague, Mr. Mikic, is about to disseminate a packet we presented for this. Most of this was presented to the Land Use Control Board, but some could possibly be classified as new evidence. This letter begins with a timeline that I'll just go ahead and briefly go over. Mr. Carlisle filed this application in September of 2024, nearly 7 months ago. It has taken 7 months to get to this point. We held a neighborhood meeting in December, and based upon the comments made during that neighborhood meeting, I put together some conditions of approval, conditions for this two-lot subdivision. Those were disseminated to Mr. Wade, who presumably passed them on to his clients in early January, more than 4 months ago. So for 4 months, we have been attempting to find compromise with the neighbors vis-a-vis the drafting of conditions of approval. Those conditions were redrafted subsequent to a early February meeting I had with Mr. Wade, and then a third time leading up to the February Land Use Control Board. So the conditions of approval that were approved by the Land Use Control Board were 3 attempts of Mr. Carlisle and I negotiating with ourselves based upon comments that we had heard. I want to point out one last thing on that timeline. We asked for a 30-day hold at the Land Use Control Board in January because we were told by the neighbors that we would look at the conditions of approval and hash them out. Well, 1 month later in February, there was no compromise even at that point. So we're coming to you with some conditions of approval that neither party likes, but we realize, notwithstanding that statement, we do find that they meet the conditions and the concerns expressed by the body. The bottom line here is, what are the lot sizes, what are the lot widths, and what are the front setbacks of lots within 500 feet of the subject site? Not whether we have more people who signed our petition of approval, which we do have passed out in your packet, or whether we have more people they have more people who have signed a petition of rejection. It is the UDC directs us to look at all lots within 500 feet of the subject site. I'm not going to repeat Ms. Chloe Christian with OPD, but as she articulated, we are well within the range and we are consistent with the development pattern and the character of the neighborhood. In fact, our subdivision, regardless of how it was approved, mirrors a subdivision across the street that has had no negative impacts on the neighborhood. In fact, the National Association of Home Builders has awarded one of those houses one of their national awards. Combined, that subdivision across the street, and I realize, Mr. Chairman, this would be more helpful with visuals, but I hopefully have an illustrative form of narration. The Lots across the street pay a combined total of $30,000 to the city coffers per year. Thank you, Mr. Mikic. One more slide. And this is what they look like. Actually, go back several slides. I want to cover the cross-section that these are the map. Ms. Christian mentioned the lots within 500 feet as directed by the UDC. Here they are in map form. Next slide. And of the 43 lots that are within that 500-foot range, all but 4 of them have smaller sizes. They are narrower widths and have smaller front yard setbacks. Next slide. We have attempted, if the 2 houses on these 2 potential lots are approved, this is what the cross-section of the street would look like if they were built to mirror the properties across the street. We believe that this clearly, in addition to the 500-foot threshold, if we just focus on this block, which the appellants would prefer you do versus looking at the 500-foot radius, we believe that even if we were to focus on just this block, we are still in the character of the neighborhood. Next slide. A few things to point out during the Land Use Control Board with regard to the petition that was disseminated. There was some factual inaccuracies in that petition. The first I've highlighted in red, and that states that the average lot size along that block of Grandview or that stretch of Grandview is 170 feet. It's in actuality 149 feet. The second misstatement, we believe, is the fact that this 2-lot subdivision will effectuate the demolition of a magnificent magnolia tree. The placement of that magnolia tree on this lot will make it impossible to build any house, whether it's 1 house or 2 on the lot, in our mind. And then finally, this is a matter of perspective, but as mentioned by Mr. Wade, I believe, there was an attempted negotiation to sell a sliver of his property, Mr. Carlisle's property, to Mr. Dudley, and that negotiation never consummated into a deal. But the petition says, unfortunately, developer has now rebuffed the offer. I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, and member of this council, that offer was no more rebuffed than our counter offer was rebuffed. But I'd also suggest that is really immaterial to the consideration of this body of the matter that's at hand. I'd also like to mention that 90% of the 21 homeowners, this is the blue note at the bottom, live on smaller or narrow lots or lots with smaller front setbacks than the 2 were proposed. Finally, in purple, I believe that the petitioners signed this with only hearing one perspective, and that I think was the perspective of Mr. Wade's clients. And that was a one-sided perspective. No one contacted me, and according to Mr. Carlisle, no one contacted him. Next slide. And again, here's just an image of all the subdivisions that have been approved on this stretch, starting from in 1951 through 2021. I have highlighted in dark red our proposed 2 lots. And again, we believe that just the measurements, the metrics, as Ms. Chloe Christian mentioned, meet the threshold, but just visually you can see 2001, that was approved by the Land Use Control Board. 1951, 1962, all but the 2021 did go through a public hearing process. The other lots that are nearly as small as the 2 we're proposing were created by deed. That is now outlawed. You can no longer create lots by deed. You have to go through a subdivision process. Next slide, please. And here's that award-winning subdivision I mentioned. Next slide. That we're trying to mirror. Next slide. That's across the street. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. And our letters of support are attached to that packet as Exhibit I, Mr. Chairman. And finally, I'd like to just conclude with really regardless of what members of the council, the Land Use Control Board said or did not say, they were tasked and instructed of this task that UDC Section 977H2 says this is what you look at when you look at a subdivision. When a subdivision is being created and it's creating lots, you look at the character of the neighborhood. And what do you look at to determine the character of the neighborhood? The setback lines of the surrounding lots within 500 feet, the size and the width of those lots, the proximity of the arterial and collector streets, and the diversity of land uses. Next slide. And again, all but 4 of those lots had smaller of more of those situations. Next slide. Next slide. Finally, let's conclude. These are the 8 conditions that were part of the staff report and this approval. We were not willing participants to just volunteer to these conditions. These conditions squarely meet the concerns articulated by the neighbors. And I should mention that 2001 and 2021, those 2 subdivisions on our block had none of these conditions. We would prefer we just strike all these conditions and go to the market with a clean slate, but that would probably be impracticable given that there would be, we'd have to flip the resolution upside down as a resolution of approval, and we're not willing to do that because time is of the essence. We're trying to get these 2 houses on the market. We gave the neighbors a 30-day hold back in January that resulted in nothing. So we're past the springtime prime selling season. With that, Mr. Chairman, I respectfully request same night minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehead. Councilman Smiley, you're recognized.
All right. I like good arguments. Kudos to the lawyers today. Before, kind of know what I want to do. Before I make a motion, I want Councilwoman White and then Councilwoman Cooper said, and then I'm gonna make a motion.
Councilman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. I just had a clarifying question for Mr. Whitehead to make sure I understood what you said correctly, that 90% of the other homes in the area are smaller than the proposed lots if divided?
The petition of opposition that was circulated at the Land Use Control Board and signed by several neighbors, it was signed by 21 homeowners. That 21 homeowners, I believe, constitute 29% of the people who received notice. So if we call the neighborhood the 750-foot notice, that was 29%. But of those 21 homeowners who signed the petition, 90% actually live on smaller lots or narrower lots or lots with smaller front yards.
So it's 90% of the people who signed the petition in opposition?
Against our 2 lots, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's not 90% of the neighborhood, it's 90% of the people who signed a petition in opposition whose lots are smaller?
Or narrower or with smaller setbacks.
Okay, those are my clarifying questions, thank you.
Oh, you think Cooper Sutton, and then I will.
Councilman Cooper Sutton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to put on the record that Monday, I decided, I knew this was coming up. I really wanted to see visually for myself what that lot actually looked like and what those homes look like. I took someone from my research team, a developer with me, because I figured this would be very intense. And I saw the 2 houses that were built on the lot. And I saw the lot that is in question. And my researcher that was with me saw the lot that was in question. I saw the magnolia tree. When we walked back there, it was kind of wet. Is there a sewage problem?
Not sanitary sewer, but there is a stormwater drainage issue. And
on that lot?
Well, allegedly, and because of that, we are going to the city engineer to ensure that whatever runoff problems exist today will be ameliorated. That is something that most subdivisions, certainly not most 2-lot subdivisions, ever go through, or if this had been developed as a single-family house, would certainly not go through.
The reason I asked because when my researcher and I went around on Goodlet, it runs over into Goodlet on the next street, into a home on the next street on Goodlet. But what was kind of awkward to me, those 2 houses that you just showed, that the split homes that you just showed, what size lot was that? What we looked at looked like it's about 2 acres, almost close to 2 acres. And the lot that your client is proposing is 1.08 acres. Am I correct?
That is the size of the current lot. Now, with respect to the one across the street,
yes,
it has been further subdivided.
Could you go back to that house? Could you go back to that picture? Because that's the house, and these are the pictures that I took. And I took a picture of the lot as well. My researcher, we took a picture because it was just kind of, to see 2 houses on that lot and the people and the persons that I took with me, it could not compare to the houses that's built on that other two lot. Now, I'm not sure who your developers are or who's looked at those lots and the acres of that lot, but that is totally, I mean, that's a difference, a huge difference, because those houses are absolutely beautiful. And this community was, I think, created in 1930, and it's historical, and it's a lot of elderly people, and I'm so sorry that you all even have to go through this, But I need to understand, those two houses that you are comparing to the lot your client is proposing, the size of those two, because those are some big houses on those two lots that split. So I'm just kind of asking the size of that lot.
That lot was never went through the Land Use Control Board. It never went through City Council because notice was not given to our neighbors. The problem with that lot, that was a flat lot. It didn't have the topographical problems that this other lot has that drains off into that northeast corner. When we met on February the 7th, there was a discussion with Mr. Whitehead that there would be a no-build zone in those areas. You don't see anything like that on any of the conditions. The reason for the no-build zone was primarily and exactly to prevent what would happen if you build like those two houses are.
Yeah,
on
those
that
are two
lot.
houses that
And that lot is not compatible with the one across the street. And Mr. Whitehead did argue that if you built one house on that lot, you'd have to cut down the magnolia tree, which the neighbors would like to preserve. That magnolia tree's been there for years, since there was the house on that lot. So I don't know where he gets that from, but maybe you're right.
Okay.
To answer your question, Madam
Yes.
Councilwoman,
Yes.
the subject site has 1.55 acres. The site across the street, that one
This
had
1.55 acres?
no, that's ours.
That's you all's 1.55 acres?
Yes, ma'am.
And this one?
1.87. But I need to make a couple clarifying statements to what Mr. Wade just testified to. Number one, this minor subdivision, and I can lean on DPD if I'm incorrect, that minor subdivision did require notice to the neighbors, and the neighbors had an opportunity to appeal to the Land Use Control Board, number one. Number two, we will have a new no-build zone, but the way our conditions are worded is it will be determined by the city engineer. So exactly where the low point is where it'll be.
Okay, and you said it was 90% of the community that opposed this? 21 neighbors against it in that community.
29% of the people who received notice oppose it through this this petition. Of those homeowners, that 29%, 90% of them live on smaller lots, narrower lots, or lots with lower setbacks than what we're requesting.
But with one single home on there, right? Not two, right?
No, if we were to do two.
You're going to.
Yes, ma'am. That figure was with regard of our two lots.
If they did two, 90% of the people there signed the petition on a small piece of property.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chairman.
All right, so I have thank you. So I have a couple of questions. Let's start. How many homes in the neighborhood? Can somebody answer the question? Anybody know? Where you gave notice?
The question.
How many homes were included within the notice?
A lot.
A lot. Okay, and of the 20...
I have the answer.
How many?
73.
73. And of the 21 homeowners who opposed it, where do they live in comparison to the proposed lot?
The problem, yeah, they live along Grandview Avenue, which is that one street, which is the one that we're trying to preserve from further subdivision. Other people live in other areas around, but they're not on that street.
Okay, so from the folks here, by a show of hands, how many of you live on that street? Okay.
How many of you live on that street?
How many households, how many households are represented?
17 households on Grandview Avenue.
There's 17 households on Grandview Avenue. Of the 17 households, how many households oppose this particular project out of the 17? 13 of the 17. Okay, thank you. And then my next question is, I think this is for Mr. Whitehead. There was a question along the lines of, in January of 2025, I believe, you alluded to a potential compromise between the two parties. And there, you said there was a 30-day hold, and you said nothing came of it. Was there any meeting between the two parties, or there was no conversation had at all?
So that meeting occurred on January 9th. We met in the MLK conference room while the Land Use Control Board met in this chamber. There were two doors being proposed, two paths forward. One really didn't affect the other, but they could both meet at the same place. The one path forward would have been a land negotiation between the Dudleys.
We don't have to say names, just say parties.
The two parties. In other words, my party, my client, would sell to an adjacent property owner a sliver of land. There was two issues with that: the size of the sliver and the price of the sliver. So that never materialized. Door number two would be crafting conditions of approval. And I think that, and I suspect that door number one was deemed a better door from the neighbor's perspective, and so door number two got short shrift.
Okay, so that happened, and nothing ever happened. So I'm gonna ask one other question, and then I'm gonna probably make a motion. If this body would say, hey, we don't really want to decide anything today, we hope that the parties can come to some type of resolution. The body decides to hold for a period of 30 days, whatever that meeting would be. I think it's the 20th of May. The likelihood that a compromise could be met.
Based upon other 30-day holds, I would say close to zero.
Okay. Can I hear from the opposing party as well?
Yes, sir. The meeting that Mr. Whitehead talked about on February the 7th, where Mr. Carlisle was supposed to come, he didn't show up.
Parties.
The party did not show up. In my office.
January 9th was MLK room.
No, I was talking about February 7th. I thought I said February the 7th. So what has happened, the last thing that happened on April the 8th, I invited a meeting with Mr. Carlisle to see if we could talk, with the other side, to see if we could talk about this. The answer is that my clients had to give him a counter proposal before he would consider meeting with them, and we never had the meeting because he wouldn't come. He had conditions, and the conditions were not acceptable. We asked for a meeting, and our city council person refused to meet with us.
Okay. So, all right. So two things: parties, party A, party B. I don't care who's party. It's parties. Second thing, you haven't answered the question. You're pretty good at this lawyer stuff. Answer the question. The question is, if this body decides to hold it for 30 days, because it appears to be some type of breakdown in communication.
If the other party will come to the meeting, yes.
All right. I'm gonna tell. So, all right. Thank you both.
Yes.
All right. So the council has to make a decision. So I'm gonna tell you where I'm at. I'm in the opinion this body should hold. That's my opinion. That's where I'm at. Anyone? No, it's not a motion yet. So here's where I'm at. I'm of the opinion this body should hold. If there's any objecting viewpoint, I would love to hear it. I haven't made a motion yet. I'm just telling you where I'm at.
Councilman Warren, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've pretty much gotten emails from people, and I've been sort of waiting for this presentation because I didn't quite understand what was going on. And I think the part that gets me is that across the street there's a divided piece of property, and if the sizes that Mr. Whitehead are saying are true,
the vast majority of people in that subdivision live on pieces of property smaller than this piece. So it's almost like they've gotten into a battle of wills instead of compromise. So I think that, you know, in my mind, I would be willing to go ahead and vote today and approve it, but I'm more than willing to allow people time to come to a compromise and come up with something that works, because it doesn't make any sense if, you know, the vast majority of pieces of property in the subdivision are smaller, that we're saying we can't let him divide this if it's going to be larger than more of the pieces of property that are there already. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm sort of thinking that I like your suggestion. I think they could come to a compromise, but if I had to vote today, I'd vote for it to go through for the reason, just the logic of the sizes of the pieces of property. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Warren. Councilman White.
It seems like maybe Councilman Dr. Warren maybe understood some of the presentation a little bit better than I. If we do hold it, I guess I would like to understand better or clearer what the opposition is, because right now I'm kind of viewing it like Dr. Warren, so I'm not really understanding like what I don't really understand what the actual opposition is. I understand it as a general concept, but I've not really heard it in terms of the numbers or even the people who actually oppose it in terms of the number of total of homes. So that's where I would be today as well. But if they would like to go back and talk and hold, I'm open to that.
Thank you, Councilwoman White. Councilman Smiley, you want to make a motion?
Anyone else care to speak on this item? I would love to hear thoughts other than my own. You know, I like to think I'm right. But,
all right,
it's a body of 13.
My comment.
Councilman Spinoza?
Yes, thanks everybody for coming out. This is in the heart of my district, but like every other council member up here, every week we all have to make decisions on what's happening in other people's districts. So this is the first. I mean, I've gotten a lot of new information today. If you don't make a motion to hold, I am going to make a motion to hold, but I want to respect what I was catching the vibe that you were about to do that. I would encourage both parties. I would encourage any party that goes in front of the LUCB, Land Use Control Board, to figure it out before it comes here, because you just may not like what you get, and that goes for both parties. So I would highly encourage a hold today. I'm gonna let you make that motion, and then us make a final firm decision in 30 days. But those are my comments. You wanted some comments? I'm gonna give some comments.
Thank you, Councilman
Smiley. Y'all can work something out.
Councilman Smiley.
All right. I listened to this body. I listened to, I think it was 3 lawyers here today. Yeah, well, 4 y'all. AC over there. Yeah, 4 lawyers. I listened to the lawyers. You know, yeah, I'm just gonna move that we hold this item to the 20th of May. Yep.
Did you want to speak? All right, without objection, no objection, this item will be held for 30 days. Madam Comptroller, would you please call item number 6?
If they do, that's okay. Chairman, can I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
So those of you who are here on this particular item, and I want to be clear about one thing. This body will be prepared to take a vote at the next council meeting. Do what you have to do. I don't know who's going to favor, but this body will be prepared to take a vote. So that's the only thing. So we're not going to hear it again. We've heard the arguments by both parties. We know some of these lawyers have some pretty good retainers. We don't need to hear the arguments again. This body is going to be prepared to take a vote without presentation. So figure it out.
Thank you, Councilman Smiley. Madam Comptroller, please move on to item 6.
Item number 6 is a resolution approving the appeal of Ron Belt's 180 South Main LLC seeking to overturn the action of the Memphis and Shelby County Land Use Control Board denying a modification to allow a time extension for a surface parking lot at the subject property located at 180 South Main Street. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is MJR 25-04.
Madam Vice Chair, you recognize.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met and did not make a recommendation on this item. The appellant seeks a reversal of the Land Use Control Board decision denying a modification to allow a time extension for a surface parking lot at the subject property located at 180 South Main Street. To put this matter before the council, I move that the Land Use Control Board's decision be reversed. This is an appeal of the Land Use Control Board's rejection of a time extension request, as I said, to allow the parking lot in the downtown near Peabody Place. And just a note, a yes vote approves the time extension. A no vote rejects the time extension. However, the applicant could still come back to request a 5-year time extension for the council, originally included as an option.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. That item was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Warren. Does any member wish to see a presentation again? We've heard it in committee. We've heard from both sides. Anybody wish to hear from DPD? All right, very good. I'm going to go to public comments. Rebecca Denstool. Ms. Denstool, you're up first. So I could have your name and address for the record. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name's Rebecca Denstool. I live at 959 East Riverwalk Drive, Memphis, 38120. And I'm here representing a small business, a historic business here in Memphis. This is our 123rd year in business, representing Denstool's Candies. I am the president and co-owner of the company. And we have a business that's on Main Street, right near the corner of Peabody Place. This lot is located adjacent across the street, which allows our customers to have easy access to park, run into the store, grab a bag of chocolates, and be on their way. So we are in support of this amendment, and we ask for your support as well. We feel like this will help our downtown retail stores because people do not want to pull into a garage just to run grab a box of chocolates. So we ask for you to consider this carefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Denstool. Thank you for being here, and thank you for those comments. Hal Lansky. Mr. Lansky, you're up next.
Mr. Chair,
yes, ma'am.
May I simply
Judge.
enter my appearance? I am retired Judge Bernice Donald, and I am here this afternoon along with Nathan Bix. We're members of the Birch Porter and Johnson Law Firm, and we are representing the appellant, Mr. Belts. And at the appropriate time, I would like to make a few comments, but I would certainly yield to Mr. Lansky so that he can make his comments.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm Hal Lansky, second generation of store owner in downtown Memphis. Next year will be our 80th year in business, and we're so happy and we love Memphis, so I'm glad to be here today. 5 years ago, COVID, it's hard to believe 5 years ago, COVID almost put us out of business. Rampant crime in the city, it's been terrible, but I would like to commend City Council and Memphis Police Department. I do see crime getting better in downtown Memphis.
Good.
I talk to a lot of people who tell me, Hal, why should I come down to see your store? Why should I shop with you? They tell me they can drive by 25 restaurants. They can drive by 20 clothing stores to come downtown. And why do they have to pay for parking? And they love to. When they go to other parts of the city, they can drive right in front of their business. They don't have to go into a parking lot. So I just want to say that the Bell's parking lot, 180 Peabody Place, is the most beautiful surface parking lot. I really hate to call it a parking lot. It has beautiful music, and when you pay, you get to get beautiful music. And the statues, the marble statues, And the landscaping of the property is beautiful. And if I say myself, if y'all can walk through the city of Memphis downtown, you will not see the cleanliness on our streets in downtown Memphis. So I'm strictly for approving the Bell's parking lot. It's an apple in the middle of our downtown. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lansky. Brett Williams.
City Council members, my name is Brett Williams, and I serve as the Director of Venue Operations for the Orpheum Theater. I'm here today on behalf of the Orpheum to express our support for the extension of the existing permit for the service parking lot located northeast of our theaters. This lot has been thoughtfully maintained, featuring local art, attractive landscaping, and even subtle music. It offers a convenient and welcoming parking option within easy walking distance for our patrons. At the Orpheum, we pride ourselves on exceptional customer service, and a key part of that commitment is providing accessible options for everyone, including parking. While many of our patrons choose nearby parking garages, which we love, others prefer the simplicity and visibility of an open-air surface lot. Some of our elderly guests or those with physical limitations appreciate the ease of knowing they have a direct, unobstructed path to our doors. Others with larger vehicles may feel more comfortable parking in an open lot. Whatever their reason, we believe it's essential to offer choices that make downtown accessible and welcoming to all. Like any responsible organization, we value the ability to plan. We make most of our investment decisions on a multi-year time frame. The extension of this permit now would give us the assurance that the parking lot will remain available, providing greater confidence as we coordinate events, accommodate diverse audiences, and continue investing in the success of downtown Memphis. Thank you for your time and consideration. The Orpheum appreciates the hard work you all do for our city.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. John Dudas.
Mr. Chairman, I'll defer till the others have spoken. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Denny Riley. And Judge, I'm coming to you next, saving the best for last.
Thank you, Denny Riley. I live at 486 Montaigne Boulevard, 38103, and I own the Majestic Grill along with my husband, and that is located at 145 South Main, 38103, thank you. And we are in support of approval of extending this application. It might seem kind of silly that we're all up here talking about a surface parking lot in times
like... We talked about sillier things.
Downtown, as everyone knows, has been struggling to come back from the long COVID that Memphis has been suffering from. And right now, we need every opportunity to encourage people to come downtown. Some people are just not comfortable parking in parking garages. That is just the fact. We hear that from our own patrons as well as our employees. This surface parking lot is immaculately maintained. The music's already been mentioned, the sculpture, the landscaping. What hasn't been mentioned is actually that it's also monitored 24/7, which makes me and my team feel better about welcoming our guests downtown, and we really appreciate that. We are in support of this, and I hope that you will be as well.
Thank you, Denny. Judge, you're up.
Chairman Canale, Vice Chairman Swearingen Washington, members of the Council of the City of Memphis. As you know, the biggest threat to growth, development, planning, and the future of businesses is uncertainty. My client, Ron Bells, the President and CEO of Bells Enterprises, is here today through council asking you to minimize the uncertainty as it relates to 180 South Main and Bill, the surface parking lot that you've already heard so much about. He's requesting that this council approve the resolution to grant the requested extension. I, along with Nathan Bix, are honored to represent Mr. Bells, a long-standing and trusted partner in the growth and continued development of the city of Memphis, and particularly downtown Memphis. I will not attempt to recount his individual efforts, but will state as it relates to his alliance and the opportunities afforded by the city, he has honored each of those with a commitment to the growth and development of the city. This parking lot endeavor is no different. This extension that he is requesting was before the subcommittee chaired by the Honorable Jana Swearingen Washington on April 8th. At that time, we presented a number of slides. We won't repeat those unless you simply wish them today. But let me address why we believe this request should be favorably reviewed. The UDC Code 96.9, it sets forth approval criteria for special use permits. Without reading each of those, I would argue that this project satisfies each of them. The staff report disagrees and asserts that the project will have a substantial undue adverse influence upon the adjacent property, the characteristics of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, parking, and public safety. You've heard from the residents that it will not, so we respectfully disagree with that report. You've heard from the representatives and how this parking lot benefits their businesses. So in constructing this parking lot, Mr. Bells has demonstrated the same vision, dedication, and sense of the community that is shown in developing other signature properties in the Memphis area. Why did he do it? What's the evidence? He constructed a parking lot with appropriate landscaping, aesthetic, significant art, music rooted in the history and the stories of Memphis. He made it a sanctuary for those parkers who do not wish to circle high-rise parking lots and be confined by dark walls. The people here have told you why this is important as a support for the downtown area. We endorse their comments and join in them. Members of the council, Ron Bells and his family and their forebears have committed their time, talent, and treasure to the city that they love and believe in. They've been consistent, enthusiastic partners, and they have enthusiastically pursued things that make this city the great city on the bluff that it is. We ask you to approve this resolution, and we thank you for your attention and your consideration. We ask and move its support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman Smiley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Canale. I don't really know how to say this, but let's just vote. Can we just vote? I think this body knows what it wants to do at this point. We've heard the arguments. We've seen the letter of support. We got the judge here. Come on, let's just vote. All right. I move that we, Councilman Walker's in the queue before I.
Councilman Walker, you want to speak before we call the question?
I'm definitely calling the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be brief. So at the last meeting where this was brought up in committee, I did make an inquiry about the marker that had been on this parcel at the corner, and in a matter of 2 days after hearing from Mr. Biggs, the marker was located. It was the marker for the Freedman School, the historical marker. It was given a new pole, and it's across the street at the MLGW property. So it was really, really close. Thank you to Mr. Belts, Mr. Biggs, and everyone that was involved in finding out where the marker had been located. Thank you, and I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Smiley.
All right, so I'm going to vote for it. I hope we all do. With that, I call the question.
Madam Comptroller, please prepare the voting screen for item number 6. Members, please cast your vote. A yes vote is in favor of the appellant. The extension, a no vote, is against the extension.
Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Smiley, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
Spinoza's a yes.
Spinoza's voting yes. Mr. Keepland.
That item passes.
And also Ms. Cooper. No, please, we will. And no, Councilwoman Cooper Sutton is no, Mr. Keepland.
Madam Comptroller, please call
Thank you.
Item number 8.
Item number 8 is an ordinance amending ordinance number 5367 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Memphis, Tennessee, adopted on August 10th, 2010, as amended, known as the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, to authorize a zoning use district reclassification for land located at 7073, 7093, 7105, and 7117 Stage Road by taking the land out of the Conservation Agricultural Use District and included in the commercial mixed-use district. Up for third and final reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is Z25-01. The ordinance number is 5939.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Madam Vice Chair, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. This item was a rezoning of 7.24 acres on Stage Road for a tractor supply store. The staff and Land Use Control Board recommended approval.
Very good. That item was moved by Swearingen Washington. Need a second, please, electronically. Seconded by Logan. Any member wish to see a presentation again? Good. Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to thank this company, business, Ms. Shackelford, I think that's her name. I want to thank them for the opportunity to have a community meeting. Thank them for, being great neighbors. I did go by there. We talked, and I realized what business it was, and they've been more than gracious, and I'm glad to say that I approve of this. It's going to be a great asset. Thank you so much for coming back down, and I'm sure the community is grateful as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did not realize until we started our meeting that this particular piece of property is being sold by my wife's cousin. And so I'm going to recuse myself from this vote, but it shouldn't really affect it because this whole family, a lot of the land that we have for that Wolf River bottoms and all the conservancy that we have down there also came out of this family farm. And I just want to thank the McClanhans for giving that farm, and I'm recusing myself from the vote.
Thank you. That's the longest recusal I think I've ever heard.
That's literally the record for recusal of long.
Record for the longest recusal.
Other members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for item 8.
Prepare the voting screen, please.
Madam Comptroller. Members, please cast your votes for item 8.
Don't forget to recuse, Dr. Warren. There we go.
Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, recused. Swearingen, Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
That item passes.
Please show Cooper Sutton is voting yes, Mr. Keithland.
Madam Comptroller, please take us to the MLGW fiscal consent agenda, starting with item 11, going through item 28.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 11 is a resolution approving change number 6 to contract number 12588, Tripwire Enterprise with Tripwire, Inc., to renew the current contract in the funded amount of $57,671.46. Item number 12 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12180, engineering services for water engineering with HDR Engineering Incorporated, to extend the current contract in the funded amount of $550,000. Item number 13 is a resolution approving change number 5 to contract number 12190, professional engineering services for gas engineering and operations with Chai Engineering Services, Inc., to ratify an invoice payment for emergency services and increase the contract value in the funded amount of $410,000. Item number 14 is a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 12522, SolarWinds Enterprise HCO and supporting modules with Insight Public Sector Incorporated, to renew the current contract in the funded amount of $142,754.95. Item number 15 is a resolution awarding contract number 12524 Outdoor Wireless Network North Service Center NSC to Logicalis Inc. in the funded amount of $231,361.91. Item number 16 is a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 12587, Armis Asset Intelligence Management with Unico Technology LLC to renew the current contract in the funded amount of $104,013. Item number 17 is a resolution approving ratification of purchase order number 7065965 to Altech Industries Incorporated for Class 7 bucket trucks in the amount of $1,420,600. Item number 18 is a resolution awarding purchase order for Class 5 crew cabs with enclosed bodies to Chuck Hutton Chevrolet Company in the amount of $182,962. Item number 19 is a resolution approving ratification of purchase order number 706172 to Lonnie Cobb Ford LLC for half-ton pickup trucks in the amount of $481,518. Item number 20 is a resolution approving ratification of purchase order number 7067150 to Chuck Hutton Chevrolet Company for 3/4-ton pickup trucks in the amount of $155,145. Item number 21 is a resolution awarding purchase order for Class 8 cab and chassis trucks to Rush Truck Centers of Tennessee, Inc. in the amount of $800,005. Item number 22 is a resolution awarding 2 purchase orders for service bodies for 2-ton cabs and chassis to ML Utilities in the amount of $37,466 and Scruggs Equipment Company in the amount of $264,880. Item number 23 is a resolution awarding purchase order for a community and crisis response vehicle to Safeware Inc. in the amount of $425,929.44. Item number 24 is a resolution approving change number 5 to contract number 12193, Grains Maintenance and Landscaping Service with Rotolo Consultants Incorporated to ratify, renew, and extend the current contract in the funded amount of $155,845.23. Item number 25 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12409, Trash Removal Services to BFI Waste Services, LLC, doing business as Republic Services of Memphis, to renew the current contract in the funded amount of $428,255.55. Item number 26 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12414, Electrical Substation Grounds Maintenance with Rotolo Consultants, Inc., to renew and extend the current contract in the funded amount of $264,662.18. Item number 27 is a resolution awarding purchase order for Class 8 dump trucks to Rush Truck Centers of Tennessee, Inc. in the amount of $224,368. And our final item is number 28, resolution approving a schedule of rates for outside legal services that amends prior resolutions, setting specific rates for legal services. Mr. Chairman, that concludes your MLGW items.
Well done, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Spinoza, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Canale. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
MLGW fiscal consent was moved by Spinoza, seconded by JSW. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen. Members, please cast your votes for the MLGW fiscal consent.
Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please take us to our consent agenda, items number 9 and 10.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 9 is up for second reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is Z25-02, ordinance number 5942. Item number 10 from our Engineering Division, a resolution accepting public improvements for Hyatt Centric at One Bill, Phase 2, PD 18-10, and releasing the bond. There is a request for same-night minutes. The contract number again is CR-5290 and CR-5290 amended. That concludes our consent agenda items.
Madam Vice Chair, you recognize.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met. There was a favorable recommendation, and I so move.
Item was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Spinoza. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Good job, Jim.
Thank you.
Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
The consent agenda passes. Please take us to item 35 on our add-on agenda.
Item number 35 should display shortly. It is a resolution to amend the sewer FY25 CIP budget by transfer of contract construction appropriations for sewer capital pay-go to sewer revenue bonds to fund ongoing construction projects at TE Maxon Wastewater Treatment Facility, $1,913,738.95 in sludge disposal earth complex, project number SW2006, and $2,903,194 in south plant expansion, project number SW02033, District 6, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by the administration, and there is a request for same-night minutes.
Councilman Smiley, you recognize.
Committee recommend approval, and I so move.
This item was moved by Smiley, seconded by
Chairman, I
Spinoza.
apologize. I made a mistake. Committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Thank you. Members, please cast your votes for item 35.
Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Please call item 36.
Item number 36, appointments. Memphis Animal Shelter Advisory Board, Barbara A. Britton, Tori P. Eves, Fabiola Francis, and Elizabeth Smith.
Madam Vice Chair, you recognize.
Thank you, Chairman. The committee met, and there was a favorable recommendation for all of these candidates, and I so move.
Moved by JSW, seconded by Warren. Madam Comptroller, did you say same-night minutes?
There is a request for same-night minutes for
Okay.
this item,
Very
item
good.
number 36.
All right. If you would prepare the voting screen, members, please cast your votes for item 36. It still says 35.
Let's say 36. Just a minute.
That'll work. All right, members.
Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Please show Councilmember White as voting yes on this item. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Please call item 37.
There was a request for same night minutes on the appointments as well, sir.
Correct.
Item number 37 is a resolution to amend the FY Council Community Grant Allocations, all council districts. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Smiley, and there is a request for same night minutes.
Councilwoman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. The committee met and recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by White, seconded by Warren. Did you want to speak? Did you want to speak? All right, will you take your name out of the queue, please?
Oh, no, I was trying to do the motion. I apologize, Chairman.
Madam Comptroller, please prepare the voting screen. Members, please cast your votes for 37.
Did you say you said a request for same night minutes?
Cooper Sutton, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Please show Councilmember Smiley as voting yes on this item, and Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please take us to item 32.
Item number 32 is a resolution to accept, allocate, and appropriate conference sponsorships, donations, and registration fees collected for the State of Memphis Housing Summit 2025 in the amount of $25,000. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
The committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for 32. Members, please cast your votes.
Cooper Sutton, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 33.
Item number 33 is a resolution amending the FY25 Housing and Community Development Operating Budget to accept, allocate, and appropriate additional revenue collected in the amount of $23,132.14 from the 2024 A Taste of Memphis event held at Tiger Lane. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. The Housing and Community Development Committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen. Members, please cast your votes for 33.
He did. Cooper Sutton, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Please show Councilmember Ford is voting yes. Smiley, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 34.
Item number 34 is a resolution to transfer an appropriation of $260,000 from contract construction to architecture and engineering in repair 14 Bridges Sam Cooper, project number PW01253, to fund increased CEI costs. District 2 and 5, Super District 9. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilman Smiley, you recognize.
The committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Thank you, Councilman. Moved by Smiley, seconded by Swearingen Washington. Seeing no members in the queue, please appear at the voting screen. Members, please cast your votes for 34.
Cooper Sutton, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
Please show Spinoza as a yes.
Please show, Mr. Keepland, show Mr. Spinoza's voting yes, please. Thank you.
That item passes. Colleagues, this brings us to our same night minute items. I believe the vice chair has those ready.
Thank you, Chair. Our same night minutes this evening are items number 10, 35, 36, and 37. That's 10, 35, 36, and 37, and I so move.
Same night minute items moved by Swearingen Washington. Need a second, please, electronically. Seconded by Smiley. Seeing no members in the queue, please appear at the voting screen for the same night minute items.
Cooper Sutton, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Smiley, yes. Warren, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. White, yes. Walker, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
That item passes. Colleagues, this brings us to our public comment portion. Mr. Joe Kent, it's nice to have you back.
Joe Kent, 5111 Flamingo. Please don't get caught up in having the #1 zoo in the country. Have a nice zoo, which we have, and just maintain it. That's all. Next, the only reason we have to pay a management fee of $1.2 million is because our philanthropists are in the most generous city are not doing their part, like with MRPP. The zoo is a market-based retail experience like Walmart and Target. Did you know that the zoo, before the Fletcher event on July 1st, 2022, transferred $8 million to a nonprofit zoo foundation board that we do not even know who the board members are? The zoo needs no local money. In fact, I would cut the $1.2 million management fee that they get now and give it to those Memphis Mecca ladies that presented before them. Next, on the Downtown Crime Command Center, housed with Edge and the Chamber, the mayor's going to be tough on crime by getting mugshots on the news involving the theft at the FedEx hub. As far as who ripped off MATA, they won't be concerned with that or of Edge and the Chamber's public ripoffs. So they're going to be concerned about, just crime, but not any of the white collar stuff that's going on. Also, I put in a controller complaint on the mayor today based on his funding decision given to him of funding Memphis Museums Incorporated for $2.7 million, who, like MATA before, has no public financials anywhere, okay? The other thing I'm really curious about, Mr. Chairman, is when is the forensic MATA audit going to be complete? I mean, that's a big deal. Do you have any idea, or is there any legislative curiosity when that's going to be complete?
We do not have that answer for you, but I assure you that we will be presented in the Transportation Committee as soon as we get it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. Glad to see you're doing better. Staff, I want to thank you for your time and attention today and all your hard work. Members, I want to thank you as well. Appreciate your service to this community. I will entertain a motion. moved and seconded. Thank you again. God bless you. We're adjourned.